You're watching Vampire Secrets on the History Channel. Vampires. In 1400, just mentioning the word would have inspired terror. But over the last few centuries, the popular image of the vampire has undergone a radical shift. Sure, vampires today can still be scary. But today's top vampires are much more than that. They're sexy. In 1922, viewers of F.W. Murnau's vampire classic Nosferatu would have found the idea of the sexy vampire impossible to imagine.
Our very early vampire stories describe the creature itself as hideous. Nosferatu is a very creepy-looking, unattractive vampire, Max Schreck playing this horrible creature with claw-like fingers and rat-like teeth.
Exactly how did one of history's most terrifying monsters become so hot? Many experts credit Bram Stoker's novel Dracula as the breakthrough that pushed the vampire from scary to seductive. In the repressive Victorian atmosphere of the late 1800s, the dapper Transylvanian count is virtually pornographic.
You couldn't write somebody even like romantically holding hands really without getting censure, but to write about a vampire attacking a woman and feeding off of her blood, sinking his fangs into the white flesh of her neck, there's eroticism there, but it's eroticism that goes underneath the radar of the censors.
Something in the character of Bram Stoker's provocative bloodsucker strikes a chord in the human psyche. It doesn't take long before this new literary Dracula begins to eclipse the folkloric one.
In 1931, we get Todd Browning's Dracula and Bela Lugosi, and suddenly he's dressed in a beautiful suit with jewels on, and he's suave and sophisticated Dracula.
The movie that Bela Lugosi made was so important in fixing the vampire image in our mind that the cape, the widow's brow, and the fangs became the three most identifiable marks of what a vampire is.
As the 20th century progresses, the metamorphosis continues. Vampires are now full-fledged cult figures, steeped in dark sexuality.
We get people like Frank Langella playing an extremely attractive and very sexually loaded, sexually charged Dracula.
It's in the 1960s, the first vampire who's a real hero, a very, very positive character, is Vampirella, a comic book character.
It's not long before vampires begin to become objects of romance, respect, even affection.
Barnabas Collins, the vampire on Dark Shadows, is the first troubled vampire, that is, the vampire who keeps enough humanity to be in angst over having to kill other people and drink their blood in order to continue living.
The evolution of the modern vampire continues. The era of Barnabas Collins gives way to the breakthrough novels of Anne Rice. It's 1976, and the vampire has reached its sexual peak.